Hey, look who we have here. AIRWAVE. Laurent Veronnez joining us.
Hey there.
From
How you
Budapest.
Doing? No. I'm
Czechoslovakia. Where are you today?
I'm still home, but I'm packing because tomorrow I will be departing for Toronto, Canada.
Awesome.
I can't wait. I have a gig there this weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a very special one to me.
You were in
the last one of the year.
You were in the States last weekend, right?
Yeah, I was in Los Angeles. I was at Winterfresh Festival.
Yeah.
Which was held at Union in downtown LA, as far as I remember.
Wow.
It was a great gig, and
wow.
we had a good communication interaction with the crowd, so it was good. It was cool.
And you're going to Toronto. This is, you said, the last gig of the year?
Yeah, the last gig of the year. Finally.
Yeah. Really
looking forward to this one, and this is gonna be for me because I just want to leave the rest of December entirely free because I have a lot of productions to make.
Yes.
And
you don't stop, do you?
I'm running behind on all fronts when it comes to production. It's a nightmare.
Well, it's a balance, right? Because you've been touring so much, and so if that goes up, then production.
Just touring, then production, and then I really wanted to make something.
Yes. Yes.
Volume 2, and I'm really happy that I did because
I am too, because it's amazing. Came out great.
Thank you. I just from there I just wanted to to see where I left Volume 1 and start all over again with fresh new ideas, and I wanted to put samples in there, a few of them, but not the standard 909 or 808 when it comes to drums, for example.
The new
something
kicks,
different. And
I'm playing it right now. I mean, the sound of the kicks just have such great.
I gladly like them, actually. Thank you.
What was your focus on this compared to version 1? What would you say is the difference?
The big difference is that I wanted to put there two different things. The first one is a stronger identity when it comes to AIRWAVE as the artist, and beyond drums, as you know them, because I used to do a lot of them in Volume 1, but beyond those drums that I did in other kinds of FM synthesizers and everything, I did a lot of textures based on my past hit tracks, and
explain that process. What did you do?
Actually, I did shit. Well, sorry about that. Loads of stuff with a few tools that I don't use every single day, but that I like using.
Yes.
The first of them is a very rare piece of software that you probably know. It's Pole Stretch.
Yes.
And I used it intensively.
Yes.
On top of that, I re-imported all the textures into my digital audio workstation, and from there I just added a lot of reverb, different reverbs, convolution, and stuff like that, and filters and stuff like this. And
so you're saying that the textures in this library are recordings
from
your albums.
Yeah, from the past albums,
and then
for the last 20 years.
To be crazy, and then just taking a snippet of the stretched results.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I did, and from there I also made use of that incredible plugin from Synaptic, Adaptive Verb.
Yes,
it's a fantastic reverb unit.
Yes,
and
it's amazing.
I used it a lot on them. I also made a lot of use from the found sounds. Well, the recorded sounds that I did for a track of mine on 2012 ambient track that I did. It's called While Alice Sleeps, and I still had my Zoom H2 recorder, and I went everywhere, recording an escalator that was defective, stuff like that, and sounds from the subway, the bus station,
the train tracks are there, right?
And even the flutes and everything is in there. Actually, you can hear my my daughters speaking, into some of the recordings.
Oh, really?
Into some of the samples and the textures, especially the escalator. It's really
oh, how fun!
So
the family is along on this library as well.
It's that's because I couldn't use the samples into that track at their full potential because of the track. You need to finish production. But I've always wanted to recycle those found sounds, so I added them to the collection. So you have the drums, those textures from my own tracks, and those pieces of my actual life, my everyday life.
Right.
So it makes sense. Strong identity. Yes. And also the second point that I wanted to explore a little bit more is a harsh sound. Yes. I wanted to get a little bit tones. More into distorted tones and grittiness and,
there's some amazing
like
stuff.
This.
And the mod wheel just goes
because
rather radically.
Actually, I didn't have any choice. There is something you need to know about Omnisphere. Beyond the warm filter algorithm, or filter type, let's say, there is a problem with the filters in Omnisphere. Well, for someone like me, when you crank it up, it's just losing a little bit of definition. I mean, in the high tones, and you have to compensate it.
Yeah,
and this is what I did with the mod wheel and the studio EQ.
Right.
You will see that in the
high end stuff.
So I boosted the high end and everything that way to give the final thing a harsh sound. And this is something I that was deliberate. Yeah, I wanted to compensate for that lack of high tones, and when you do that with let's say a synthesizer from Arturia or Urs Heckmann UHE, like Zebra or Diva, when you open the filter, even on the freebies, you have this full sound, and this is what you can have it with the warm filter type into Omnisphere, but I like the character of the juicy filter, so I had to compensate.
Right.
And the way I did it sounded really harsh but gritty, and I was like, hey, this is cool, actually. This is cool. So I did it on purpose. And there is another trick that I used. I used and abused. That's the Lav algorithm in what's the name of that effect again? I don't know anymore.
Inner space?
No, that's the I made a lot of use of inner space, but you have in those distortion effects. You have you have this what's the name again?
the Sound Lab thing, whatever it is. The
let me
Thrift
check
Shop.
Here because Thrift Shop. I made a lot of use of Thrift Shop, but that was already the case in V1. But in this
Toxic
specific
Smasher,
case, that was flame distortion. That was the gold old flame distortion from Omnisphere 1, because there is a loud thing in there, the loud driver, and it helps giving a full sound to some of the patches, but you have to be really careful with the balance between the input, the pre and the post knobs, and but I think we did well. It adds some character to the sounds.
Yeah, it's like the loud button. I mean, it's actually,
it sounds harsh, but it's really a bit nasty as well. But it doesn't annoy me at all. It doesn't bother me at all, to be honest. And I was really, really happy with that, because I found another way to compensate for the lack of volume in some patches. Because the problem is that lots of dynamic. You have a big dynamic range into Omnisphere. That's a good point.
Yes.
But the problem, that's when it peaks. It
when it hits the limit,
0 dB fast, and then it clips your channel. Yeah. And actually, this is something I wanted to avoid with some patches, make them a little bit louder.
Right.
That was the big challenge for this collection.
Yeah. So what he's saying, just to explain, when you use the filter, there's all sorts of different presets. Yeah. And some presets keep the high end more accurately than other presets. And you like the juicy filter, which has a really fat, when the filter is going up, it just does this wonderful thing to the sound. It's very warm. But the high end basically is cut. You
It's
immediately notice
it's losing a little bit of,
Yeah.
Of not transparency, but it's losing a little bit of this harshness that you get.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
definition.
especially with the wavetable tones. You know, you can hear that the waveforms.
Yeah.
They don't sound, especially when you try to make something like a JP8000 lead, for example. That's really, really important that you have this full on filter.
Yeah, it's got to cover the whole spectrum.
If you do, that's my tip of the day for Omnisphere users today. Make good use of your filters, and if you like a filter but it doesn't sound harsh enough, well, I will give you a tip with the mod wheel and the Studio EQ.
Yes, there's a lot to learn in these. Just like the first ones, I think a lot of people got AIRWAVE 1 because of the tricks and some of the things that you did that were different. And it's cool you're continuing that tradition, right?
Well, there is one thing I did here, and that's something that's completely unexpected. It's some kind of a hack, actually. I was just playing with those samples and the possibilities, just like with a video game, you know.
Yeah.
And at some point, you asked me to and that was a good call to do some kick snare patches or kick
as a
clap.
single patch.
And I was like, hey, that's a good thing. And I was like, hey, but what about the hats? And I found the hack by using inner space and envelopes and LFOs as a hi-hat generator on the mod wheel. So you get 3 layers
from 2 samples
on a single 2 samples on a single patch.
Yeah.
And that's so funny. That's so funny. That is something I couldn't believe would be possible, you know. And that's what I like about Interspace, even though it's a CPU hog. And you will check it out, especially when you use more of them. You know, I have some of those. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to find, because I made one patch where I had all 3, because you had it hidden on a mod wheel for the patch. And I made, there's one of the patches that I made at the last day before saying we're done. I'll play it. Yeah, here it is. Bass drum, clap, hat, groove. That hi-hat is coming from inner space.
Yeah.
So, and all you have to do to that is you can go into, where is it? I think it's mod 3 envelope. If you change this to be something else, that's going to change the pattern of the hi-hat.
Actually, I got a lot of inspiration from Diego Stocco himself, the man, because he made a few of those. He made those collections for Ableton Live, making use of those convolutions and everything. It was really interesting. So I wanted to recycle this ID, but into Omnisphere.
And you did.
And I think we did well. Well, it's all his work after all. I guess so. And we did well here because it's completely unexpected. Actually, you can do entire new sounds based on inner space and just a noise oscillator. You see what I mean? Just put an ARP, just take a noise oscillator. Well, actually, this interview gives me an idea for a new bunch of patches.
Well, we were talking about we want version 3 to come sooner than a year away. So let the ideas flow.
I mean,
man.
18 months was way too long waiting. I'm sorry about that, guys, but
well, you've got a busy career happening, so you have to support it all, right? It's completely
crazy. It's here like 9 p.m. and I will have to wake up at 4 a.m. in order to catch my flight, and I still need to pack and do everything, you know, but. I've already checked in, but everything else is crazy, man.
Right.
I still have to take care of some stuff here.
Sleep on the plane.
No, I have to keep working because I have so much. Yeah, I have so much radio show and everything, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I get high demand, and I'm so proud of that.
That's awesome.
So proud.
Well, I'm so glad you took a minute for this interview. So
well, that's my pleasure, really. I wish I could do more, but I probably do more once I get back here because as it's my last gig of the year.
Yes.
Probably next week and the week after.
We'll do a live stream.
I would like to do a special video, so I show people how to go further with the samples and how to make their own patches based on the samples and everything, and a few tips based on my experience throughout the process of making volume 2. And actually, it's been so intense and such a short notice, because I did it in like 6 weeks. It was crazy, but I've discovered so many new things, so many hacks that I would like to use in volume 3 now.
Right.
It's gonna be.
You were doing stuff. Awesome. For example, another hack was the swing parameter.
Yes, actually, that one was crazy. Actually, because something that really bothers me with arpeggiators is that you cannot give it a negative delay or something. So I had to be creative with that one, and I wanted the clap on some of the multis.
Yes.
I wanted or the patches in this case. I didn't want them to hit exactly on the same downbeat every single time.
Right.
So I had to be creative. So I used I think a delay. I put the ARP on the even before, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's the way. And then I used the swing,
right,
with an LFO or a randomizer. I guess one of those two. That was crazy.
So you could use that to vary the timing of arpeggio parts. Right.
It's such a badass idea, actually. It's such a badass thing that you can do that with a synthesizer. Yes. I only know 2 or 3 synthesizers that can do this,
right.
And Omnisphere is the powerhouse not only because of its sample collection, but because of those little things. When you have like 50 or 60 effect plugins straight that you can automate with the model wheel,
yes,
and
integrate
LFOs
into the
and
patch.
randomizers and everything.
Yeah,
it just gets
the integration of the patches into
your mind
and the
implodes,
effects
and you have to keep it small, because actually I could have done 1,000 patches or even 2,000 patches out of the samples only.
Yeah, you were saying you just started to explore those, right?
Yeah, I was just scratching the surface of my own work, and especially the textures and everything. I was like, I could do this, I could do that. I had to stop somewhere,
Yeah. Wow.
Because I just want to create this interaction with the users too, and see what their feedback is. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, this will be fun.
But I cannot believe that it's done, because it was so intense. Really, I had so much fun doing them.
Yes.
Some of them were literally done on the plane to Los Angeles and on the way back.
Yes.
If you see what I mean, it was just crazy. I was with my right hand on the trackpad and with the left hand on my iPad playing as a keyboard in Logic Remote, doing all the stuff, And
on the airplane,
I had to check. Yeah, on the airplane. I worked like in total. I worked like 17 hours. Extra on the library, inside the aircrafts.
Yeah.
From Dublin to LA and from LA to Dublin, and I even worked at the hotel as well on some of the bass patches as well. So it's been really intense, but I'm so glad it's done, and that it's now available for most people. Really, it's. And
I also take it the arpeggiated work you did is more of a melodic, complex nature too.
Yeah, for some patches, I just wanted to,
meaning it's not so generic. It's not so generic. You know how a lot of the AIRWAVE stuff was just boga biga 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 biga. It could be like, but this, there's all this really cool harmonic stuff happening inside of what you're doing that I thought was really impressive.
Glad you noticed it. Thank you for mentioning. Well, it's because I like melodies just like anyone else.
Yes.
And I don't mind, creating an entire melody into the arpeggiator.
Yeah.
And probably one of these days I will make an entire 32-bar melody, but not into the arpeggiator, of course, but this time in the modulation envelopes.
Yes.
Because that's what I like using, especially because there is no glide function with the arpeggiators.
Right.
In Omnisphere. Well, you might think it's a shortcoming. I think it's a great, it's a freaking great idea to have something like a hack somewhere, a backdoor that you can use to do that.
To do that,
it reminds me of the modular days and everything, because you had to be creative. Right. When you have something like the Moog modular in front of you, well, it's impressive, and sometimes the fact it's so huge and impressive in front of you is a bit haunting,
Yeah.
But once you just scratch the surface, you discover the little hacks, and what I like about those old modular synthesizers and everything is that they didn't have arpeggiators, but well, they had, but they were all based on the sequences.
Right.
Especially when you watch Klaus Schulze playing, for example, you've probably seen this video for Barry Graves. He was exactly doing this. This is the kind of inspiring stuff, that I watch all the time. So it gives me new ideas for patches and for melodies myself. Actually, this is my big dream on midterm. I just would like to play live that way,
Right.
Technically not as impressive as today's music, probably not as punchy and as compressed, but just the fact that you can play live with those sequences into something like Omnisphere, for example, and play entirely live and everything, and improvise your sequences. It's just crazy, you can do something incredible based on those past IDs, and this is
the limits are very few.
That's the future. I digress here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's good, but the limits are so few, but the doors are wide open. It's a really cool combination with Omnisphere. I mean, assign pitch to an envelope and then modulate the intensity by velocity in an arpeggiator, and now you've got pitch EGs when you want it, right? So I mean, the way there's like all backdoor crazy ways of thinking to do things.
Actually, I think that Omnisphere 2, even without the sample collection, with the 65 gigs of samples, it's just worth the price, because it's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, to put your own sample in and use the tools in it.
It's amazing.
Insane.
Well, there are other tools like this, but Omnisphere is just something I'm so glad to use. Because you can feel that from the inside. It was done with a lot of passion and love, from the engineers and the people, and even you, because you made a few patches also.
Yes.
And I could hear that, it's something I like about the synthesizer. That's the magnetic effect that I like about it.
And plus you can set it up to where you play one note and it's this complete entire idea that you have in your mind being able to be interacted with, which is really fun. I mean, a lot of people kind of poo-poo the one-note things, but the fact is it's one note created by a person that's got the vision to do that. Just that you have a tool that you can do that in is really exciting. So
Now, actually, there are so many people working with modular because they want to find this inspiration and everything, and they cannot find it into software synthesizers. This is why they work with modular.
Yeah.
I was listening lately to the music from that surf thing from Junkie XL. It's out of this world, to be honest. But also Solar Fields and all of my heroes, and they all use at some point they all use modular synthesizers and everything, or at least emulations, because they cannot find something, or the Eurorack thing, because they cannot find something similar. And I think it's all in here into Omnisphere.
I think so. Yeah.
This is what they've managed to do with that synthesizer without even realizing themselves.
Right.
And it's just,
the tools and possibilities. And it's actually, I have a modular here and I love to use it, but it takes so much work just to get the basics working in Omnisphere. You just turn it on.
And Omnisphere is like 30 seconds and you have it. Well, it's probably not as good sounding, which is normal because, the filters and everything.
On a subjective level,
there is a difference between software and the hardware circuit that costs like, hundreds of dollars.
Right.
But still, I think the basic idea is the same. And
yeah.
I'm not a modular guy at all, but I like the sounds it makes.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that I found into Omnisphere something that lets me create this kind of ideas very quickly.
You get close to that inspiring sound.
Modular. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I agree.
There it is.
I concur. Well, it's a great collection. You did
well. Thank you.
Lots to learn from, and again, even the multis where there's all this stuff happening, it's fun. Some of these you broke them down to where different notes play the different parts. So it's not just the one note all playing things. It's you can build it as a song now, which is fun.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and I guess one day I will make an entire song. You just hit press one note and you have an entire song to Omnisphere. That would be awesome, actually.
It could, yeah. The envelopes.
Also, one last thing I would like to mention about that. Yeah. I like I got this idea from you about using CC1 in order to morph between patches on a multi, and I think I will make use of it a lot more often.
That's really cool.
With the next libraries, because it was really funny to do, but this is something.
The big drone.
It has to grow on me a little bit.
That drone patch you made, where you move the mod wheel to go between 4 different sounds, it's really You can actually score a picture just using the mod wheel, right?
Exactly my point. But keep an eye on your CPU, because
I know.
Some of them, and that's because of inner space. When you use like one inner space, doesn't matter. When you use 2, it's getting bigger on CPU. When you use like 4 or 5 on the same multi, you're gonna have big CPU spikes. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But I made a few light versions of the patches and multis. Well, the multis in this case, and not to forget, most of them you can just re-enable the inner spaces and the plugins I disabled one by one in order to get the original, to get back to the original sound. So there was a lot of thought into the process as well.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
This is it. I'm really happy with it, and this is a fantastic collection. A fantastic experience for me.
Yeah.
And this is it's a brand new occupation for me.
Yeah.
If it were me, sometimes I just would make patches for all kinds of synthesizers and nothing else. But my fans wouldn't be happy at all.
You've got the career going. So
I wouldn't be performing. I wouldn't be making music or anything else.
Well, I think it's really clever and awesome to be able to combine the artistry stuff you've done into the textures you're using now to build a library. That's fun. That's a unique take. A lot of people can't do that.
Well, it's always been my goal. Actually, I've always wanted to create this combination between producer, DJ, and
soundsmith
and sound designer and everything.
Yep.
I'm not pretending that I'm, a big gun in those industries, but I wanted to be more than average in most cases. I'm not a bad DJ. I don't think so. I'm not a bad musician when it comes to making records, and I don't think I'm a bad sound designer either.
No.
Well, it's not. It's just patches, And this is based on my everyday life as a musician and my passion as well.
I think what people learn when they play patches from different people and different companies, people with experience that have done this, the patches, it's like a wine from a really great winery that's got, there's things you can't tangibly touch and explain that make that what it is. And I sincerely believe that with the patches. I feel the experience of everything you've been through in your music and your career when you play these sounds. I mean, it's there's some of your DNA transferred into these patches in a way, you know?
Yeah, and also you will see that there are a lot of acid patches.
Yes.
I'm such a fan, and this is something that was truly lacking into Omnisphere.
Oh, and the hardcore. We got to mention the hardcore. Why did you go hardcore, man? And they're so cool.
Because no one does that.
I mean, here, let me call one of these to play. Oh, quick. I'll go like this.
Hairstyle?
Yeah. Why'd you call it hairstyle?
Hairstyle. Just the combination and hardstyle. That's it. And then you can play that 145, 150 BPM, and you have like bang, 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 bang.
Totally. I mean, there's only 4 of them, but there's so much you can do.
Yeah, actually, they're just starting points. I just want you to understand how I did them, so you can make your own. And that's where it becomes really. That's where it becomes really funny working. It's just like playing a video game, you know.
Yeah. Well, you've given templates for a lot of different stuff that you can now take those ideas and run with them.
Yeah, you know.
Now make it your own. That's kind of what you're saying to the customers. Here's 4 to start with. Go to town.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly my point. And you know, you cannot. I cannot make 1,000 or 2,000 patches. Well, I could do that. I could do this, but I think that would be diluting the library here.
Yeah.
AIRWAVE Volume 2 is a great companion to Volume 1.
Yes.
Volume 1 was just a shot in the dark. I had never done anything like this before, and you helped me out. And well, this second library is just a good companion. So both will go well together.
They complement each other nicely. You're right.
Yeah. I'm so happy. You know.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. It's such an accomplishment to me.
Yes.
Can't believe this.
I know. Well, nice talk. Okay. I'm so glad we were able to share this with people. So.
That's my pleasure, man. That's my pleasure. I wish I could talk more because I have like 3 other hours if you want, but
no, you got to pack and get ready.
I will be able to make it tomorrow.
We'll be Skyping while you're on the airplane, right?
I wish we could do that, but I remember that's
what?
That's the thing I need to tell everyone about. Actually, I ran into some trouble when traveling. When you are performing musicians, sometimes when you bring your laptop with you, you don't always update it and update the plugins and everything.
And right.
My library, my Omnisphere libraries were up to date, but not the software itself, which gave me errors and bugs inside when at work on the libraries. And I was like, come on, how is that possible? And actually, I ended up paying the fee for the Wi-Fi inside the aircraft, so I could download the Omnisphere update, which took me literally 3 hours
on the airplane. Oh my gosh! And they charge you like body parts,
like $20, like $20. But I was like, come on, I have to make it happen. You know, my schedule is so tight at present time. I didn't have any choice. And I was like, come on, let's just do it. And I did it. And but actually waiting for like you see that 9 or 10K per second, and you have a 60 megabyte download. I was like, I'm never gonna make it here.
I know, you're watching it inch up the progress bar. Don't freeze, please don't freeze.
And actually, at some point, it froze, but then I got a better connection because of the satellites or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, when it was why it was so slow, that was because I was crossing the Atlantic Ocean on the way to St. John's and everything. You know, from there on the way to Canada and the likes.
How funny.
And it was so slow. I was like, oh, no, please don't stall, please.
That's fun. The things you have to do to get the library done, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So this
nutty.
is it, guys.
Yes.
Actually, I gotta leave you, and
yes,
with pain in my heart.
I know.
Sorry about that.
we will do a live stream for sure. We can announce.
Yeah, sure. And
so
in the next few weeks, I promise I will do a short video for you guys, so we can see how to make how to do more with your out of your library here, because you have only 81 samples, but
yes,
it's not the amount of samples. It's just the samples that make the library, and we're gonna do more with those.
Yes, definitely. Cool.
Well, thanks a lot for the opportunity once again. I'm really blessed that I can work with you, John. And thanks for also worth mentioning. John has been a great help for looping the samples, because
my pleasure.
It demands some kind of software that I don't have myself anymore. It's not on the market anymore.
No,
and
it's not available, which is tragic, because
it's a tragedy. I used to work on OS9 with Antares Infinity, if you remember that one.
Yeah.
But it's abandonware today, and I cannot loop my samples anymore. And so you did help. Thanks a lot for that.
Keymap Pro. It's great that program is.
Let's hope that Apple hears us. And
well, I will never update this Mac. This Mac is frozen in time at its operating system that it's at because of that program. I mean, I have to have that program for the work I do. So we are frozen. It's crazy.
Don't sing that song, please. No.
No. Your daughters love that one, right?
Yeah, I've got two fans here. Whenever I'm on the car, on the way home with them from school or anything, I'm like, let it go.
No, don't start it. I have a daughter too, so I've been through that phase. Well, safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Here's to the version 2. Let's have some fun, man. It's awesome.
Volume 2. And I hope you guys will like it, and I can make great music out of it. That's my goal here.
That's what it's about.
It's my goal. Wish you
and I love
a
lot of
the
comments. A lot of times in the comments, you're like, "Here's the menu to make things easier for you and for me."
Yeah, because I'm just like you.
Yeah.
I'm just a better tester of this library.
It's like, just get this set up. That's really easy to use. Oh, that's easy to use for me too. So yeah, that was fun to see. All right. Thanks again. See you, Laurent.
Well, that's my pleasure, really.